So coming back to the FMS course, so this is lesson number 3, so learning to teach movement skills. You'll start this off with a quiz, so sort of a pre-assessment of what you already know. You'll then go through the information in the following PDF, and then you'll go back and do the quiz again to demonstrate what you've learned since the first time that you completed it. There'll be some stuff about communication. So when we're teaching movement skills, communication is really important. So this activity is going to cover that. And then you've got the assignment for this section, and it's going to bring in the biomechanics, and it's going to tie it into the phases of movement. This isn't an easy assignment, so it's really important to make sure that you sort of have a good idea about the phases of movement, the biomechanics, before you start this. There's an extra set of video assignment instructions right here to explain how it works. I've also provided this long jump mechanics PDF and an angular momentum and running document. So because you're going to choose either one or the other, either the jump, or you're going to choose running to use to complete this assignment. So these are some supplementary information that I highly recommend that you read because it'll make it much easier to get the answers that you need for this assignment. So this is a challenge. Again, you're going to be applying biomechanical knowledge to the phases of movement. And this is a step up. So this wouldn't normally happen in the FMS course, but this is something that we need to do, or you need to demonstrate as a curriculum expectation for this course. So I blended the two together. So we're sort of killing two birds with one stone. So it's important to make sure that you do it that way. In this case, the PDF and the information for learning to teach the movement skills. As I mentioned, it's going to start off with looking at where you should be when observing movement skills from. So obviously the location that you're looking from is very important. It's going to review the 4 phases of movement again, and then some characteristics of effective feedback. We talked earlier about being positive or negative, and this can be more in terms of effective feedback and saying something construction that the person that you're teaching can actually use. The doing piece will be making sure you put yourself in a suitable position to view a skill. Can you identify preparation, force production, critical instant, and follow-through recovery? And then communicating effectively, and then providing feedback to improve skill performance. So this just goes over where to observe from. So in this case, you're supposed to sort of think about this. There are some quizzes that are designed. So as you go through back in the other section, you'll complete this, but via quiz format. You can complete it as many times as you need to get it right. This sort of gives you an idea of where things should be, or where you should be throwing or standing from when watching throwing or watching running. So this is information that you can use to help you out to complete that task. This is phases of movements. It's a reference manual. So here's running. You'll notice phase 1, all right, or picture 1, but it runs you right through to the final end. But you'll notice that the phases of production have been highlighted, okay, in this situation. So it's important to make sure you think about the different components of how this works, all right, in terms of the phase movement for that. And then in terms of jumping, all right, the same idea in terms of the preparation, force production, recovery, follow through. On the assignment, you'll want to use some of this information right here, but you'll also want to look at the picture and put some more detailed observations, and this won't be enough to get exceeding expectations. So be sure when you're describing these things in your assignment that you go into much more detail that might be listed here. But again, all this information can all be used, all right, for when completing your assignment, but do add extra details and extra information. So again, just going through another worksheet, so it's showing preparation, all right, so you indicate preparation. When does force production start? So obviously when the body, the torso starts to turn and the arm comes forward. Critical instant, all right, you would then indicate that the ball is no longer in contact with the hand, so this would be your critical instinct. At that point, it's left the body. And then you'd want to follow it through to follow through recovery, which I would like to have a few more pictures to show follow through and pointing at the target, but that's okay. So again, just some questions to think about as you're going through this. And then there's a communication exercise. So you're actually going to print this off and cut these pieces out. And then you're going to basically go through this activity with 2 people that you can, I guess, convince to do it with you. So some people have had their parents do it. I caution you, parents often have ended up fighting. All right, so you may want to pick some people who you think maybe won't start fighting about this, but it's a communication situation. So you want to make sure that you take this information. As you'll notice that the 2 participants are going to sit or stand back to back. One person will have the finished puzzle in front of him or her, the other has the pieces. The one who has the puzzle gives instructions to the other, who then tries to recreate the puzzle from the pieces without asking questions. And then you're the observer, you're looking on. And then as you're observing, you're looking for all these different components or pieces that go with this. All right. So here's the completed image or diagram. And this is what you're going to have one person try to talk the other person through to then recreate. So your key ideas here. So these are important because you're going to refer to these when you submit your discussion post. So make sure you do read these. And these are the things that I'm looking for you to have mentioned based on the observations of the two people who helped you with this activity.